Hi everyone, it's Rodney Rissanen for another episode of Rodney's Life Lessons. Today I'm going to try and touch on what makes you happy, or unhappy for that matter. I'm going to start off immediately that wealth does not make you happy. Gratitude makes you happy. How many really rich people do you see that are really grumpy? They seem to be really unhappy. The problem with accumulating wealth and possessions and fancy home and car is these things become your life. You got a fancy home, so you have to buy a fancy alarm system. Now you got fancy car, so not only do you have to have fancy alarm system, but you need to, is it going to get stolen? Is it okay to park it here? Can I even take it out? And then it's got to be parked in the car park, and you spend so much time cleaning it and preening it. So materialism isn't one of those things that's going to make you, jump out of bed in the morning and be excited about the day. The majority of the world lives below what we in North America would call the poverty line. And so many third world nation people are exceedingly happy. You really notice it. You really notice it. And I'm going to warrant that one of the main reasons for it is the gratitude they have for the life that they have. I'm in a one bedroom apartment with my beautiful wife, and you can have a humble home, and to the majority of the world, again, this is absolute luxury. So if you're ever thinking, oh, I live in such a humble home, and I'm ashamed, don't go there. Don't be that way, because you need to be grateful. You have a roof over your head, you have food in your stomach, you have a car. Like so many people, oh, I've only got this. What's even worse is those people that judge according to what you have. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm betting they're not happy. I'm betting they're not. Because if they think that you need, a Chrysler 300 Hemi all blacked out and six-figure salary or yearly income, that they're basing those things on their happiness on materialism. Another thing people tend to wrongfully base their happiness is on their looks. Because if we're fortunate enough, lucky enough to age, those looks will fade with our age. So we can't base our happiness on. I'm now living in America, and I notice a lot of the billboards around here, and I even mentioned it to my wife. I says, this is like everybody's trying to be a model here. She goes, well, yeah, that's kind of how it is here. You gotta look the part and act the part, and that's looks fade, so then they get plastic surgery. And how often have we seen botched plastic surgery? So what does bring happiness? What can why, if all of these things that people strive for and work so hard for, if that's not going to bring you happiness, then what the heck is? Well, I touched on it in the beginning. Gratitude is what's going to bring us happiness. It's one of the many things that can bring you happiness. Be grateful that you have a bed to sleep in and a safe home. There's many parts of the world that are war torn, and it's dangerous to be out in the streets. I worked with the homeless. I was homeless for a little while, and I think that's one of the keys. If you've never been without, you take a lot of the luxuries for granted. Like I literally lived in a shelter built out of tarps. I built my own outhouse. I had to carry food 6-kilometer round trip. It's very humbling. And if you haven't been humbled, then there's a lot more arrogance and I'm better than you kind of attitude. I think once you start on the spiritual path, it's sort of a prerequisite is you need to be humbled, because then you can be rebuilt. And you have a higher form of gratitude for every little thing, like electricity, like running water, a flushing toilet, a stove. Like I've literally went months without these things. So these things I'll eternally be grateful for. Because when you go without those basic necessities, you kind of realize like, wow, we've really got, you wake up and you throw a light switch, you flush the toilet, you turn on the frying pan in the morning. Those are things that so many people take for granted. And I really encourage you to look again, look around you, look at all the possessions that surround you, all the books and all of the things you have, and be grateful. Truly, truly be grateful for what you have. It's for one, the majority of the world does not have anything close to what you have. And you're one paycheck away from losing everything yourself. Very few of us have savings. Very few of us are lucky enough to have squirreled away an amount in case something bad happens. We can lose everything so quickly. So don't be full of yourself. Don't be big-headed. Be grateful. Be humble. Another thing that can bring us happiness is serving others. How amazing is it to get an incredible Christmas present, and it just you just feel all warm inside. But how much more amazing is it to give an incredible Christmas present and to see somebody's reaction and the joy, and they light up, and they light up the room with the joy that they're feeling when you get them something that they've always wanted. Serving others. I remember walking when I was starting this. I actually lived at my son's, and I walked somewhere to get something, and I was coming back, and there was a homeless person, and I stopped and I took the time and I engaged that homeless person, and I wished them well, and I think I gave them a few dollars or whatever, and I walked away, and there was literally tears rolling down my cheeks. It feels so good to serve, to help others. And it's not like, now let's post this on social media, here's me, look at me. That's not the attitude that we need to have. It's, the Bible says, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. You do things in service secretly. You don't do it for recognition. You don't do it for the accolades. Like, oh, I gave this. There's so many social media things out there. How embarrassing it must be for that person that's already struggling on the street. Now they got a camera thrust in their face. It's like they want to curl up and die somewhere. They don't want that. They want your time. They want your service. So be grateful for what you have, folks. Truly, you have more than the majority of the world. Go out there and help somebody. Be of service. Every little thing that we have, every moment in our life, if somebody gives you a rose, don't look at the thorns. Look at that beautiful flower. Learn to recognize the beauty in all things. Learn to appreciate the beauty in all things. Learn to be grateful. Have a humble, serving heart. I love you guys. Hope you like this message. Please check out my YouTube channel too. It's under Rodney's Life Lessons. There's a lot of longer videos there as well. Take care. Love you. Bye.